Hello, my name is Jeremiasz, and today I'd like to talk to you about video games. Are video games art? I very much believe so. After all, if music, books, movies, paintings, or architecture are considered art, then why shouldn't video games be? But be honest, do you think of video games as art? Chances are you'll say no, and honestly, that's understandable. What video games have you heard of? Fortnite, Brawl Stars, Call of Duty, maybe some more titles? But although those are very good games in their own right, the primary thing they are isn't art. It's entertainment. And I don't mean that as an insult. I've sunk hundreds of hours into titles like Rainbow Six Siege or Apex Legends, and I happen to think that coming home after a long day only to spend the evening screaming and frustrating over the inability of your teammates to make even a single good play is actually quite relaxing. Entertainment is important, but my point is that when looking deeper into these games, beyond the occasional surprisingly well-developed character or a somewhat engaging plot, it's really hard to find anything of substance. There are no interesting themes, jaw-dropping displays of human potential, or profound stories that challenge the manner in which we think in the way most examples of what we think of as art often do. You are completely justified in thinking that video games aren't art. But nevertheless, I would like to prove you wrong. I would like to show you games which do achieve that, ones that have something to say, ones that simply have to be considered art, or any definition of that term would make no sense. But more importantly, they do things only possible within the realm of video games. They allow for experiences which simply wouldn't be achievable within any other medium. I'd like to show you the storytelling potential of video games. You can also treat this list as one of recommendations, as all of the titles I will mention are widely acclaimed as some of the best. The significant difference between video games and all other mediums of art is the player's agency and presence within the world the author has created. As the player, you are there and can interact with the environment. That is already more than most other mediums allow for, and it is the basis of most of the examples I will be showing. So, what are the implications of that involvement? For one, it allows the player to better connect with the actions of the characters. Oftentimes in a story, the hero has to do something that is hard for them, emotionally. A good movie or book will make you, the audience, feel what the character is feeling. Have you emotionally invested in the difficult choice they have to make? In a video game, you are the main character. Their actions are your actions, you perform them, and you have to face their consequences. So let me give you an example to illustrate the point. In the game Metal Gear Solid 5, you take on the role of Big Boss. As the name suggests, you are the leader of an incredibly large paramilitary organization. Throughout the course of the game, you rescue various soldiers from the battlefield to join and fight for your cause. And these men trust you with their lives. To say that they think of you as their messiah would be an understatement. However, tragedy strikes as it is soon found that a deadly virus is spreading throughout the ranks, and some of your men must be locked up in containment. But that containment is soon broken, and you must enter the facility in order to make sure that the disease doesn't spread, which, unfortunately, means the elimination of your infected men. And it is there, in a dark room, that you encounter a small group of soldiers. Knowing that they have the virus, knowing what must be done, they simply salute you and say, "We live and die by your order, boss." And as they are all eliminated one by one, it is not Big Boss that is pulling the trigger. It is you, the player, physically moving and clicking your mouse in order to pick your next target, aim, and shoot. It is only through this kind of connection with the actions of the characters that the true weight and consequences of those choices can be felt, that the audience truly invested in them. On the flip side, this kind of connection can also make you feel positive emotions. In the game Elden Ring, you make your way through the lands between, encountering many enemies on your journey. You struggle, you fight, you die. You struggle, you fight, and after a couple dozen tries, you finally succeed. And when your character is congratulated for their victory, you can't help but feel proud of yourself, because ultimately it is you that overcame those obstacles and came out on top. Video games also have something when it comes to stories that involve mysteries. In Outer Wilds, you take on the role of an astronaut trying to uncover the secrets of the universe, which you do by exploring your solar system. An ancient alien race known as the Nomai have lived here ages ago. It is up to you, equipped with a device capable of translating their language, to find out why. However, you are on a 22-minute timer. After that time is up, your sun goes supernova and everything resets. The only thing you retain is your prior knowledge. And so you fly from planet to planet in your spacecraft, encountering mystery after mystery, piecing information bit by bit. Slowly, you see the whole picture come together. Nothing is better than the eureka moment you have when exploring one planet, you come upon a piece of information which allows you to progress on another one. When you suddenly know what to do and feel like a genius because of it, immediately rushing off to see if you're right when the next loop begins. In more traditional media, where a story is told linearly, the audience discovers the clues alongside the characters. All have to be introduced and their importance needs to be telegraphed. When an item is specifically described, you know it's important. When the camera lingers on it for a slightly longer moment, you know it will play a key role. And so, from a mystery, it becomes a game of connecting the dots. How does this clearly important element connect with this other clearly important one? Games allow that mystery to feel more like an actual mystery. In Outer Wilds, you just pick a planet you think looks cool and work your way from there. What is initially a completely incomprehensible mess soon neatly comes together into one clear answer, which not only helps in surprising the audience more, but also makes them feel like geniuses. They are the ones who found it, after all. So far, I've only talked about experience-related elements of video games. How to make the audience feel a certain way, how to make a story more enjoyable. But what about the actual narrative, the themes, the ideas, the message, the elements that make a story truly art? To find those, look no further than Disco Elysium. It will serve to illustrate another key characteristic which makes video games truly unique as an art form, the opportunity to explore. I don't mean that in the physical sense of the term, although that is part of it, but rather as analysis or inquiry. No matter how good a book, movie or comic is, there is only so much it can explore, so many characters it can introduce in its limited runtime. Video games can ignore that limitation, and Disco Elysium is a great example of that. You don't have to experience the entire story to beat the game. There are certain actions you must do in order to reach the ending, but ultimately it is up to you how much of the optional stuff to engage with. Disco Elysium uses that advantage to fill its world with interesting, memorable and well-written characters that the player can all interact with. Disco Elysium places you in the shoes of a police officer in the city of Revachol. Destroyed by the revolution from decades before, Revachol is a place where all kinds of different ideas clash. During the course of the game, the player will meet characters representing various viewpoints: capitalism, socialism, fascism. They will meet devotees of democracy and of monarchy. Multiple different characters, each with their own unique perspective and way of life. The player them, hear what they have to say, and respond accordingly. Disco Elysium uses these people to explore their ideas and critique them. The game allows the player engage with these characters and find out why they choose to believe in the ideologies they believe in. And it is only possible because the player doesn't have to do it. There is still a lot more to be said. Video games allow for branching storylines and multiple endings, how they can use unique environmental storytelling. This was merely a glimpse. However, the message I want to leave you with is this: if you are an aspiring writer or filmmaker, if you have any kind of story you want to tell, think if it wouldn't benefit from having the form of a video game. If that medium wouldn't allow you to say more of what you want to say. If it wouldn't allow the story to resonate more with the audience. And if you aren't one of those people, but my speech has interested you just a tiny bit, then play some video games. You can start with the ones I mentioned, or you can look for something which is more in your taste. Trust me, there's plenty to choose from. I wanted to tell you about the storytelling potential of video games. The stories that they already tell and the stories that they could tell. And for the sake of art, I hope I succeeded. Thank you.